I got asked a question last night on my radio show if I would compare TCU to any team in the SEC, and I kind of thought about it. And I guess I said the closest thing I could think of was us. And I don't know if that's paying them a disservice or not. They've been playing better than us. They're 36 in the RPI. They got 2 point guards that are both terrific and great in ball screen offense. They do run a couple of sets that we run, so it's from a standpoint of just sort of familiarity. We've seen the things that they do. We run some of the things that they we don't run them as well as they run them, but we run them. The other thing that's interesting is the tendencies in leagues. The Big 12 guards ball screens with some consistency a certain way. And, we see it every now and then, but we don't see it as consistently as I've seen a number of teams do it against their actions. I thought that was just interesting. And I know that's the case sometimes. It's something's working in a particular league, and you see it all the time, so teams borrow the way they defend actions or they borrow different offensive sets. So this is an important weekend for the SEC. Again, I think Commissioner Slive and Commissioner Sankey, along with Commissioner Bowlesby from the Big 12, I think this series, this challenge, and the time of the year for me that it's held, I think, is brilliant. The weekend without NFL, there's a void out there. Some people are going to have withdrawals. There's no NFL games on this weekend, and so they'll be looking for something to watch and to get a chance to see, Kentucky and Kansas in late January. It's almost like an NCAA tournament game or a Final Four type game. I think it's extremely intriguing, and then the different matchups that take on different. That involve different teams and different personalities. And, of course, the 10 games matter. Where are we going to wind up? Are we going to go 5-5? Can we go 6-4 against what everybody says is the number one overall conference in the country? So I don't always root for my brothers in the SEC. Human nature sometimes makes it difficult to do that. But I do on this weekend for sure. Do I have to?
A little bit. It seemed like D'Angelo was slow on some of his closeouts on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Ankle issue or
it probably is. You can't be that, ineffective in some ways. He just wasn't moving well, and it is his ankle. And it's not just the ankle. It's sort of everything that goes on with the left side. And he, again, we talked about originally, they said that's a 3 to 4 week injury. He came back in 2. And it wasn't, he said, no risk. I mean, the ankle is fine, but everything just sort of takes a little bit of time. He clearly wasn't as mobile, as active, as confident as he can be. And, D'Angelo's clearly, one of our top 2 or 3 players. And so if he has a night like that where he's not effective, he's not able to move, we're going to struggle. And we have struggled on nights when he didn't play well.
Did you think about taking him out? I mean, I know he helps you on the other end quite a bit normally.
I mean, we didn't play him as much, and if he continues to not play and be able to move, then we'll make the adjustment accordingly. Yeah. Well, you guys are only going to get better. We have 5 freshmen that are playing in our top 9 players, and they're all growing and improving and getting great experience this year. And you have been able to see at times, each one of them really shine. None of them have been as consistent. I think Mustafa's been the most consistent of the freshmen. But yet and still, they got a long way to go. But I think what the people around the league see, or people around the country see, is that this is a terrific group that has already accomplished a lot, but they've got so much room to get better. I just think that's what I see. Even I spent most of my morning watching practice yesterday. We practiced twice yesterday. I spent very little time this morning on TCU. I would probably normally spend a little bit this morning. I said, I want to scout us today. I want to go back and look at us. And I wasn't thrilled with what I saw, but what I walked away from watching yesterday's, we practiced yesterday for about 5 hours, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, maybe 4, was room for improvement. And so, on the one hand, like we're going to watch some of it today, I suppose I was a little disappointed that we're not better, but at the same time I'm encouraged that we are what we are, and I can see how much room we have to improve. So I think that's what people would see when they look at our freshmen.
6 weeks ago we were asking about TJ. He was just kind of a mess when he was out there, and now it seems like he's really hit a good stroke with him. He knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
Well, what's been the biggest difference for him over these last 6 weeks?
I just think that he's bought in, and he really wants to win, and he understands. He has a better understanding of the dynamic of the team, and again, I wish I could be doing a better job of getting him more consistent touches and more consistent looks, but the thing that I really admire about TJ and I appreciate is that on nights when we haven't been able to get it to him, or he's not been able to deliver like he has, against several opponents, his feathers haven't gotten rattled. He's not let the emotion and the disappointment get the best of him. I think it's maturity. It's being a competitor. It's being a leader. He understands that his stability emotionally has a lot to do, and his position as a senior. If he were to lose it, boy, we'd be in trouble. I mean, we'd be in trouble because we have so many young players. So I think he's really trying to keep it together from that standpoint. But we all know what a threat he is, and we all know how effective he can be, and our job is to get him to be able to have that be a little bit more consistent. But his effort, his attitude have been really the best it's been since he's been here.
You know about the effect he can have on these guys not losing. Did he understand that in November, maybe? Is he have a better understanding?
Well, I don't think. Let's say that wasn't as big a concern for him in November as he has the understanding now of being a leader, of just being one of our leaders and accepting that responsibility. Very proud of him.
What do you think Jamie's injected because it would seem like from the lane that before we threw the ball from November, that was going to be the biggest rebuilding job in the Power 5 team. And not having been in the tournament since 98.
When I took over at Tennessee, I had said then, I'll say it now, Buzz Peterson left me players. I had players at Tennessee. And maybe the year before they hadn't played that well, but we had talent. And Jamie had talent at TCU. There was talent there. And he added a couple pieces. I mean, Fisher as one of the highest rated players to ever choose TCU. Jalen doesn't go to TCU unless a coach like Jamie Dixon goes there. So all of a sudden you bring in a freshman 5-star big point guard that can score from Memphis. And stars were aligned. I mean, Josh Pastner moved and lots of different things happened, and he got, was fortunate. I think the other thing, too, is, look, I said Jamie Dixon, if you made a list of the 10 least heralded, most successful coaches in the country, I think he appears on a lot of those lists. Because if you look at the body of his work and the job he did in the Big East, I mean, when he was in the Big East with Jim Calhoun or Jim Boeheim or John Thompson or whoever it was, you look at his record against all those Hall of Famers, and he's right there. He's right there. So he's a brilliant coach. And so he brings in the instant credibility, a system, an immediate buy-in, and there is talent there. I mean, look, when we go down there and you see them, you watch their talent. I mean, they've got 9 or 10 really good players.
You mentioned the left side, problems on the left side, we're talking about defense. Could you explain a little bit more of that?
What now? Say again.
When you were talking about problems on the left side of your defense.
The left side?
Left. You said left side, I thought. Maybe I misunderstood.
No, that might have been the football press conference. I missed that. I didn't. We don't have a left side. We don't have a right side.
You talking about James up beautiful in defense. I guess then, how do you assess your defense now? And is that an area that you can improve a lot of?
Well, like we try to hit a reset button after the Kentucky game, and that reset button was we played LSU, we played Alabama, and then we played South Carolina. Those are the 3 games. We really focused on a reset because the scores, the points we were giving up, just were not going to allow us to be able to win, and so we kind of started over. I wanted to start over. I said we don't have any field goal percentage defense. We don't have any forced turnovers. We have no stats on defense. I don't want to look back. I want to look forward, starting with LSU and then Alabama. And I thought we defended better. And then, of course, South Carolina was back to a little bit more the same old, same old. I think the South Carolina game, probably a combination of our guys were obviously rattled by how hard South Carolina plays, how physically they play, and then ourselves, I thought we had a good scheme, and if I played them again, I'd try to do a lot of the same things we tried to do again. We just didn't execute it. We had breakdowns in either the teaching or the understanding. I don't think it was the game plan, but I'm responsible for both designing a defensive game plan and getting the guys to understand it and execute it. And we clearly did not understand it and execute it because we just didn't. And they picked us apart. They just picked us apart. So, yeah, definitely got room for improvement in that area. And certainly, look, defense and rebounding win championships. And so the reason why, let's say, Florida or South Carolina are 2 of the top 3 teams in our league right now, and Alabama has put them in 4th right now. They defend and they rebound. And, Kentucky defends and rebounds, but they're brilliant offensively, and they're unbelievable in transition. But I think if you look at the top 4 teams in the league, I bet you see 4 of the top defenses in the league.
McLemore had 18 points. It looks like he got a lot of those. The offense not really going through him to go from that drive off the run.
Well, what we were doing, and I talked about this after the game, because they extend so much and they don't let you pass the ball very easily, we ran a lot of ball screens. And when you run ball screens, a lot of times the big has to double the ball. So they'd leave Anthony or they'd leave Austin, and then they would have free reign to roll down to the rim, either to get a spoon feed, an easy one, or an offensive rebound. So I think part of the reason why our centers both put up big numbers was not a function of them getting it on their own. It was a function of setting so many ball screens and then missing so many shots that they had opportunities where there was nobody in there to rebound for them. That's a function of screen and roll offense.
Maybe you said backside, not left side.
Backside?